Today we're going to be talking about adding a few things to make your FMA chassis cars faster. So one of the things that you can do is, like what we mentioned in a previous video, adding a hollow propeller shaft to your car. So the standard propeller shaft does not look like this. This one is the hollow propeller shaft that has the blue pinion ends on it. So the standard ones have an off-white pinion that is nothing special. It's like more like a cylindrical pinion. This one is it's tapered towards the inside. So it's lighter weight and it spins more freely, spins faster. So you need to basically get that as a first upgrade, and then you'll see a performance improvement basically right out of the box. Then you want to also add a fluorine-coated gear shaft. As you see, it's a little darker than a regular gear shaft, as well as a ball bearing. Now, these items here can be gotten by purchasing the setting gear set for FMA chassis. This is item number 15516, and yes, this kit here, this set here, will include a whole bunch of different things to improve your FMA chassis cars right out of the box. So once you add these parts to your car, it's no longer box stock. You're moving into Tune Class category. So Tune Class requires a lot of additional parts to your car to make it faster. So one of the things is, if you choose the FMA chassis, you should probably get this setting gear set, which is about the cost of $9.80 for this. And if you're building a non-FMA chassis, one of the more modern rear motor chassis cars, there's a separate setting gear set for that. It is called the setting gear set for AR chassis, and that one is item number 15456. And so it's basically the same set with the same things except for the propeller shaft, which is a green, it's a hollow propeller shaft with green pinions on the end instead of blue. So yeah, I think that's the big difference between the two. So yeah, very, very cool. And the price difference also, for whatever reason, this is $13.20 for this. I think it might be actually cheaper to purchase this and then purchase this hollow propeller shaft separately. I think that ends up being cheaper than if you were to purchase this setting gear set for AR chassis, because there's really nothing special in here, as far as I can tell, that would make it like drastically more expensive than the FMA version. So let's take a look inside to see what you get. So here we see that it contains a hollow propeller shaft, that both of them do. It's also got reinforced crown gear. Oh, this one has a reinforced crown gear. This one just has a regular crown gear. Maybe that's it. It's the fact that it's got these carbon reinforced black crown gears in here. So maybe that's why it costs a little more. Okay. I stand corrected. So in both sets you get the multiple colors of counter gears and spur gears. You also get a gear shaft. You also get ball bearings. Yes. And yeah, both of them come with a fluorine-coated gear shaft. So pretty cool. So what else? In here, yeah, from everything that I see, yeah, it looks to me like the only difference is the swapping of the blue to green hollow propeller shaft, and this one also includes the carbon reinforced crown gears. You get two of those. Those are the black crown gears. They have carbon dust basically mixed in with the plastic, making the gears stronger. So that's pretty cool right there. I wonder, I think it's probably still cheaper to purchase the items separately, but your mileage may vary on that one. For whatever reason, yeah, $13.20 and $9.80 seems to be like a big difference. So yeah, if you can find a way to purchase this separately right here, this hollow propeller shaft separately, and purchase the crown gears separately, I think, yeah, it'll be a good deal right there. But who knows? So let's talk about how we can add to this FMA chassis right here to make it even faster. So here we've got Eagle right here. And I replaced the old ball bearings with this, fluorine-coated steel bearings. So this is item number 15393. As you see, it's $7.30, and it looks like this. And they are not ball bearings per se, they're steel bearings. So what does that exactly mean? So ball bearings, like a ball bearing, looks like this, with little steel balls inside. And your shaft gets inserted in there and it spins freely inside there. Whereas this one is a stationary thing. So it's like your palm, right? So the palms that you get from standard chassis, they look basically like this. When you purchase a standard box stock kit, this is the kind of palm bearing that you get with your kit, and you basically insert these into the slot holes there. So instead of using these plastic ones, which do last for a fair amount of time before they wear out, you can get these fluorine-coated steel bearings, and then you'll have a much smoother bearing for the shaft to rotate in. So you have to first take care of this, right? So you need to basically lubricate the insides of these bearings. And they suggest on here that you should use the Cera grease to coat the inside of it. It says apply grease to protect against abrasion and ensure smooth rotation. What they don't tell you exactly is which grease to use, but if you look at this very closely, there, right there, it begins with a C and an E. So that looks suspiciously like this, the Cera grease, boron nitride compound. This one here is, there's no item number on it. Item number, oh, there it is, 87099. Yes. So basically you need to put a tiny smidge of an amount inside here. I'll just put like a little drop in there. Just fill it up. There. Just like that. I'll do it on all four sides. So I'm not stuffing it with grease. I'm just putting a little drop on each one. Small drop. Not that little. All right. So there you see, I put a drop of Cera grease in each one of these. I also oiled them previously too, so I did not know that I was doing it wrong all this time. So I finally read the instructions and it said that you have to put grease inside. So yeah, let's just do that. Now here, we want to build up the transmission so that this orange crown gear doesn't keep shifting back and forth when it rotates inside the FMA car. So how can we reinforce this? Well, first off, you need to insert things like this. These are copper, I think they're copper tubes, and these tubes are found in any roller kit that contains, like say a 12-13 millimeter roller or a 9-10. So here's a 12-13, and they come with two ball bearings and one of these tubes right here, as you see. So you need to use 3 tubes to build up your transmission. You also need plastic spacers. I was told that metal spacers have too much friction in them. So yes, even though you can use these little metal spacers here, they add a little friction to the whole transmission, so you don't want to use them. And you definitely don't want to use the big washers. So this is a tiny washer, and there's also a big washer. You don't want to use those. Also, it adds weight to the whole thing too, so when things are spinning, then yeah, it adds weight to the whole thing. So you want to use plastic, and the plastic rings that you need to use, they can be found actually by taking apart an old motor that doesn't work anymore and removing this little white plastic ring that's inside the motor. So here, as you see here, this is what I'm talking about, this little white ring right here. This was taken from a motor. It's basically wrapped around the motor shaft. When you remove the motor, there's the little white ring. So how many do you need? You need just one. One to basically protect the crown gear from these copper tubes that will be pressing against it. So putting this shaft on from here, to the other side is going to require a little bit of surgery. So first, let's do the easy side. Let's flip this around and let's attach these back in. So first, what I'm going to do is just make sure that the layer, any layer of like soot, grease, whatever, is wiped off. You can use a paper towel also, which I strangely don't have handy around here right now, but basically it goes like this. You insert this on one side. Now, if it doesn't go in easily, try the other side, because the crown gear is here, so the other orange crown gear is here on the other side. Try this side. Slide it in gently, and then kind of fish for, yeah, there we go. It just easily goes in one side rather than the other. So yeah, that's just how it is. Then you take the complementary wheel here, or wheel tire combo, and you look for the bump. So there's the bump right there from where I snipped this tire off of the sprue, the rubber sprue that these tires came on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to locate the same bump on this tire here. Now these tires are usually paired, so tops and bottoms can be found more easily. So here we're going to try to more or less line them up. So here's the bumps on top right here, and this is where I'm going to start pushing in a little bit. Okay, I felt a little bit of push in, and then I do the remainder of this with a wheel press. So here I'm going to unwind this, and I'm going to gently press these wheels together, leaving a small gap between the bearing and the wheel. So here we go. So now I've got my fingers on the tires to lock this in place here, and then I start turning 1, 2, 3, release, and just let it breathe. 1, 2, 3, release, let it breathe, and then just shift this back and forth to see that there's still play, right, between the bearing and the wheel. And there's a lot of play, so we want to just do one more until we get real close, maybe one more, and let's move it. There's still a lot of play, maybe one more, we're getting better, one more, getting better. Yeah, so we can leave it about here. This is not too bad. Maybe half a step more. And the release. Okay, I like the play on that. So yeah, the play is like, it's a little shaky, right? You can probably even turn it a smidge more. And the more closer the wheels are without touching the wheel and the bearing, the more stable your wheels are, at least on this side, right? So then you do the same on this side, but we're going to add the transmission. So this is basically all done. I could get it a little bit tighter if I was like anal retentive, but here, let's just move on to this side here. So what do we do? Okay, first things first. We got this motor here. So let's pop the motor in place right here. And let's attach this back in here. There, motor's in place. Now, what we're going to do is take this and we're going to slide it in through this side, not that side, this side. It's going to be much easier to apply the transmission details onto it. So here, as you see, you can easily thread it through. And I got the plastic piece. The plastic piece came right off onto the end of the shaft. So we're going to move it over. We're going to move it down. Okay, good. Back to where the crown gear is. So there it is. Now we're going to take these copper tubes, one at a time. We're going to slip them onto the shaft. So there is a front and a rear to these tubes, just like there are fronts and rears to aluminum spacers and even plastic spacers. So, and even those motor spacers right there. There's a front and back, but it's so hard to see which is which side on the tiny ones. So here on these bigger ones, we can more easily see them. If you shine them against a light, you'll see that one side's flatter than the other side. The other side is usually kind of like a concave kind of side. And so it is the flat side that you want to have on the left side and the concave part on the right side. So let's take a look at this. This looks pretty flat. And usually it's shinier. So this is the shinier one, and it looks a little more concave if you look at it in the light. So if you don't see it, then you'll have to trust me. But yeah, this is the flatter side. This looks a little duller also than this side right here, which is shinier. So flat side points that way to the left. So we're going to take these tweezers here, there, attach like so, and we're going to slip this onto the shaft. Now it's going to be a little difficult at first, but with a little luck, you'll be able to get it on. And there we go. First one accomplished. Second one's going to be relatively easy also, and the third one is going to be the most challenging one. So you'll have to follow the instructions very carefully here, so I'll show you how to do that. And it might be easy, it might be hard for you, so yeah. Okay, this looks shiny, and this looks dull. So here we go again. I'm slipping it into the side that is shiny, and the dull side is that way. And we're going to place this onto the shaft again. It's a little harder than the first time, but we got it in, yes. Let's slide it all the way down. Now we have a little, here's why it's difficult. We have a little bit of space right there, so we want to shove this as much over as possible. And we want to also now do the third one. The third one, that looks kind of flat. Wait, no. I think this side's the flatter side. This one's harder to tell. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell. Nope. This side is the shinier side, so it's the curved side. So here we go again. Third time. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, I dropped it. If you drop it, then you got to fish it out, and you have to be very careful not to knock out the other ones. So, ooh. Let's see if I can fish it out. Sometimes it's hard to fish these things out. There we go. Let's try it again. And sometimes it's very frustrating. Sometimes everything will come out and then you have to start all over again. It's very frustrating. So just be very patient with yourself and with the car. And yeah, good things will happen if you're patient. I think we got it on, I think. We got it on. And now you see I'm slipping this through some more. There we go. There we go. So why is this transmission relevant? Okay, so I'm going to show you. Now that we've got it through a significant portion, let's just get it through the rest of the way. Okay, so now that I have the shaft through, why is this relevant? It's because without the transmission details, these parts here, this crown gear is going to shake back and forth very freely. And what you want to do is you want to try to keep this kind of like snug as possible. So you're trying to keep this crown gear as stationary as possible. Now, if you had a carbon crown gear, this is not really an issue, right? Because the crown gear is tight. The hole is tight. So when you pass the shaft through the carbon crown gear, it stays in place. This is not going to stay in place without this kind of stuff here. So you don't want it to be jammed up against it. You want it to just not shift too much. So that's why we created this little structure right here, so it doesn't shift too much. So here we can see that these tubes, they will not go beyond this point here. See this bar here? It's not going to go past this point. This wall right here is just going to prevent it from these tubes from going to the right. So there we go. So we're just trying to keep this gear in its place. Now that the shaft is on here, let's try to match up the bumps. So here. Where's the other bump? This is a possible thing. There's a bump, and there's a bump. Is this the same bump, though? Let's see. There's another bump right there. Okay, this one might be more correct. All right. Let's do this one. Close it up, and let's press the wheels together. All right, same method as before. Holding it down, 2 fingers. I like to use my index and ring finger. I'm not trying to hide something here, I'll just do this so you can see. Okay, so here I go. Tightening it up. 1, 2, 3. Release. Let it breathe. Shake it. Make sure there's space. 1, 2, 3. Release. Shake it. There's a little bit of space left between the bearing and the wheel. So let's go 1, maybe 2. Okay. A little bit of space right there. There we go. Okay. I think that's, yeah, I could be a little anal retentive again and just tighten it a smidge more, but I think I'm okay with this. This is fine to me. And now we will add the rest of the parts to this. I believe we put this motor cover in place first, then the bearing next, and then the gear cover next. There we go. And the screw. Now, there's 2 kinds of screws you can use. This one right here, it's a short screw that has a tiny head, and I think this is what you're supposed to use for the gear cover. But I like the one with the wider head, so let me try to find one of those, and I'll show you the difference. So here is one right here with the wider head. So you can see the difference in size. So why would you want the one with the wider head, the bigger head? It's because this one can strip a lot more easily with a screwdriver. This one's not going to strip as easily. So let's use this. And we'll attach this like so onto the end of our magnetic screwdriver. And we attach this gently, 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 rotating very gently. Okay, so method to screw screws in. I'm holding it with my fingers right here, and then I'm taking my other hand and gently twisting, right? And so that's going to tighten the screw, and yes, now I don't want to like attach it really tightly. This should be like firm, not loose, and then I remove the screwdriver. So there it is, right there. And yeah, this is ready for action. Now, as a veteran racer, I can tell that this is not as fast as it should be, right? So I've heard atomic tune motors that are a lot faster. This atomic tune motor is getting long in the tooth, so that's why it sounds kind of dull like this. Generally, you would want to hear something that's more energetic than this for an atomic tuned motor. But also, I have batteries that are like 1.3 something volts each, so that also contributes to the dullness sounding motor. So if I did have 154 volt batteries in here, then this would be like much, much stronger sounding. But otherwise, this is just not as fast as it could be, and we're going to keep doing more things to improve upon this to make this even faster. So yeah, very, very cool. So, everybody, if you like this video, please slam the like button, subscribe to my channel. You'll see more videos just like this one. Until next time, everybody, see you. Bye.